Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, it's Elle here. So today's video is another Halloween tutorial on the look that I'm wearing right now. So clearly this one is a little bit more on a special effects side, fake blood. Obviously if you don't like fake blood, don't watch the video obviously. But yeah, so I'll be showing you how to work with like nose and scar wax and adding some fake blood as well to create my little Cruella de Vil look, which I think I actually love. Like before I started doing this one I was like, okay, I'll do a Cruella de Vil look, but like but now that I've done it I actually really like it. What do you think? Anyways, if you do like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to shut up blabbing now and get on with the tutorial. So if you want to see how I create this, just keep on watching. Okay guys, so I've already done my brows and primed my eyes off of camera. Of course I use my P. Louise base in the shade number 2 just to prime my eyes, and I'm just going to go straight on and get into it because the eyes are super simple. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my bronzer. I'm going to take the XX Revolution bronzer in the shade Chaos if I can open it, which just looks like this. Literally use any bronzer. This is a really simple eye look for this. And a Morphe E28 brush which looks like this, a nice big blending brush, and we're just going to blend that in the crease. So this is similar to my last Halloween look in the sense that it starts off with just normal makeup and the spooky bit or the Halloween makeup is at the end basically. So we're just gonna, you can use an eyeshadow, bronzer, whatever. I'm just using a bronzer just because, like I said, it's super simple. Don't forget to get that on the outer corner of the crease as well. Okay, so once you've just got that blended all in the crease, we're just going to do some eyeliner now. So I'm going to use MAC's Black Track Liner and the MAC 210 brush. So when you're doing your eyeliner, you obviously want to coat all sides of the brush, but you still want to make sure it's nice and flat and just thin. You've not got like brush hairs sticking up everywhere and you've not got like big clumps of product on the brush. So what I do when I'm doing my wing is I just start off on the outer corner and just sort of wing it out following the lower lash line, like the direction that the lower lash line goes in, and then I just connect that to the top of my lash line. So basically that is how I do my wing liner. Obviously you can then start making it thicker, longer, whatever you want, but I'm quite happy with that thickness. I don't like to go too thin and I don't like to go too thick personally. And I'm just going to do that on the other eye. Obviously you want to make sure you are trying to get them as symmetrical as you possibly can, which is why I do like to start out on the outer corner and concentrating on the wing first, because I feel like then you can make sure you get your angle right basically. So now that I've done my liner on both sides, next all I'm going to do is pop on some mascara and some lashes and then we can move on to skin. The lashes I'll be using today are the Style Bitch is Back from Tatti Lash. These are like my favourite lashes at the moment. I absolutely love them. I think they're absolutely stunning. I think the thing I like about them is the fact that they do wing out, as you can see, so they are longer and fuller on the outer corner. Okay, so that's the eyes done, obviously other than underneath, but we'll do that after skin. So for primer, I'm going to be going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow Wonder Glow Primer. Can't talk. I really like this primer just because it gives a really nice glow to the skin, but it's not too intense. And then for foundation, I'm going to be mixing the MAC Studio Water Weight Foundation with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate foundation again, because I'm really liking this combination at the moment. Oh, and obviously one's way too light and one's way too dark, so mixing them together to get the best match. I'm going to start dotting this all over my skin. And just to blend that all in, I'm going to use a Spectrum brush today. I have no idea what number this is because it has worn off, but it's just a big like buffing brush. In fact, no, I can. It's I can just work it out. It's a B01 brush. I can just work it out. So I'm using a Spectrum B01 brush just to blend this into the skin. Of course, as always, I'm just using bouncing motions on the skin just to blend it out, and then when you do the bouncing motions you'll keep most of your coverage as well, rather than just moving it all about. So now I've got my foundation, I'm going to go in with my concealer, which is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, which I've been loving recently. So I'm just going to put some of that on my chin, centre of my forehead, and underneath my eyes. You'll notice I don't put foundation too close to my under eyes because I just like to put concealer there instead. I don't want to overload that area with too much product. I'm using a Peaches and Cream PC27 brush just to blend this in with the foundation. Again, using more bouncing motions rather than swiping. Okay, so now that I've got my foundation and concealer on, my hair's doing my head in, I'm going to set all of that now. So I'm going to use the MAC Water Weight Powder, which I always use, and a Peaches and Cream PC04 brush. I'm just going to pat this all over the skin just to set that foundation and concealer. I don't want to put too much of this on because I don't like to look too dry or too matte or anything like that. So I just put a little bit all over. Next up, it's time for bronze. I'm going to use the exact same bronzer that I used on my eyes, which is the XX Revolution bronzer in the shade Chaos, and I can never open them. This is what it looks like, and I'm using a MAC 135 brush just to apply this as well, which is what I always do. It's just like my normal routine skin-wise pretty much. And just bronze up the skin. Obviously we need to be taking this around the hairline as well. Make my forehead a little bit smaller. And I like to take it in the temples too. Okay, so for blusher now, I'm going to use a Hush Tone from MAC, which is one of their extra dimension blushes. I couldn't say that then. And I'm just going to use the Real Techniques blush brush, which I absolutely love this brush. I don't know why, I think it's just so good for applying blusher. Like, it really gets the colour on but also blends it out really nicely as well. And of course then we're going to do some highlighter. I'm going to use the Be Perfect times Stacey Marie Get Wet highlighter in the shade Soft Silk, which looks just like this, and I'm going to apply this with the Peaches and Cream PC28 brush. I absolutely love this brush for highlighter just because it's so nice and sort of petite but also fluffy and petite. Yeah, does that make sense? So basically it just blends the highlighter really nice, but because it is a bit more petite you can really concentrate it in certain areas. Okay, so that's like the base of the skin and the eyes done now. So now it's time for the spooky part, the Halloweeny part basically. How cute are these brushes, by the way? I just got them from Snazzaroo recently and I just think they're really cute. Like, yeah, anyway, so I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to use, I don't know if these have numbers or anything, I doubt it. Oh, it does, it's a number 2 brush from Snazzaroo. Looks like this. And the product I'll be using, I've never used this before, so let's pray for me because I've literally never used these brushes and I've never used this product, so hopefully this goes okay. So it's the Snazzaroo Clown White paint that I'll be using. It's just a very thick white paint, so like I said, I'm going to map this out first, just using the paint. Sometimes, like if I'm mapping something out, I will just use like a white eyeliner pencil, but I figured I'm just kind of drawing a shape on my face. It's not like going to be really precise, the shape, so it doesn't matter too much. You'll see, well, I was going to say you'll see it all come together in the end, but you'll have seen what it looks like when I did my intro anyway, I guess, but you know. So I think I want it on my forehead. That is basically the shape, and I'm going to also be doing one underneath my eye as well. that's the basic shapes of them. So I'm just gonna now like paint and fill these gaps in. It's quite good actually, to be fair, this clown white. It didn't cost very much, to be honest, but I have like the white water activated paint from Snezaroo, but I feel like it goes quite patchy personally. Like the colour payoff isn't great, like it just goes patchy, which I think is more to do with it being like water activated and such a light colour. Whereas this one is actually okay. I think I'm going to start using a bigger brush though. Now I'm working with the bigger brush as well, guys. Other than like at the edges where I'm trying to be a bit more precise, I am still actually using that sort of more bouncing motion on the skin, and it is giving a much better coverage than if I was just sort of painting it on. So this is what we are currently looking like. A little bit crazy, I know, don't worry, it'll all come together in the end. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some white eyeliner into my waterline. I'm obviously not going to use the paint because I don't know if it's safe to use in the waterline or not, so obviously I'm going to use an actual eyeliner. Okay, so now that we've got the base of the shape down, I know it's not looking like perfect, but you know, moving on to the next step, we're going to be going in with some scar and nose wax. Is it nose and scar wax, should I say? So this is going to like sort of mimic fake skin as though it's sort of like torn open. That's what we're doing. So obviously we need something to stick that down with, so I use the Ben Nye Spirit Gum and then the Ben Nye nose and scar wax as well. You don't need a lot of this, just a little bit at a time. And also one thing that I would recommend when you are working with nose and scar wax, pretty much any kind of like wax, whichever brand it's from, have moisturiser on standby. Just not a lot, just a tiny little bit of moisturiser on your fingers. It's going to help you smooth it down a lot easier, because otherwise if you've not got that there, it also wants to stick to your fingers and it's a bit of a nightmare. And I am going to work in smaller areas at a time because I just find that that works the best. So I'm just taking the Spirit Gum and I'm just going to literally paint this on where I want it. Also, when working with like the nose and scar wax, I do find it's easy to work with when you've just warmed it up in your hands. So just sort of roll it up in my hands to warm that up. Just gonna start by sticking this down. And then just start smoothing it down onto the skin. I am only smoothing it down on the one side, obviously, because this side is going to be sort of the torn open edge. Another thing I'll say as well when working with the wax, it's best to have like be more firm with it, I would say. Like I think it blends a lot better if you are more firm. And I always just, if I feel like I've got too much in a certain area, I just take it away like I did just then. And then we're just gonna do that all the way around. So I'm just gonna move on to the next part now. Get your Spirit Gum down. Also the Spirit Gum, treat it like lash glue. Do you know like how it's better once it's gone tacky? Like just leave it for a little bit so it can go tacky. Spirit Gum is brilliant as well for special effects, guys. If you've not got any, I would recommend getting it. I use Spirit Gum when I'm doing like brow cover-ups. I know some people use like literally like a pretty stick, but personally I prefer to use Spirit Gum. So I've pretty much got it done around this one now, so I'm going to do this before I move on to the next step. Also, by the way guys, I know it looks a bit messy around the edges because it's not the same colour as my skin. Don't worry about that because you'll go over it with foundation anyway, so if it doesn't match you, don't worry. now that we've got it stuck down, it's time to sort of like start ripping it up so it looks like it's torn apart. So I'm going to start off up here first. And I'm just taking a spatula with a pointy edge. You could take like a cocktail stick or something if you want. And I'm just going to start sort of pulling it up like that so it looks like it's ripped skin. This is now where we're currently at after just going around and making it look sort of like it's torn skin. At this point now you could, I'm not going to bother just for the simple fact that I'm literally just doing this as a look and a YouTube tutorial, taking photos and then I'll be taking it off, but you can actually get like a sealer. I do have some, but like I said, I'm not going to do it. You can get a sealer for the wax just so that it like sort of sets it and seals it in place, but I'm not going to be doing that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a bit of sort of a foundation around the edges just to make sure it blends into my skin. I'm just going to use a Spectrum brush. It's, I have no idea what the number of this one is, it's worn off. But I'm just going to take a bit of my foundation around the edges. I'm not going to bother taking it over the actual wax because the wax is a similar colour to my skin tone, but if the wax is like a completely different colour to your skin, obviously you want to be taking the foundation over the wax as well and colouring that in. Okay, so now that the wax is down and torn up, like I said, any areas in the white where you can now sort of see skin tone, I'm just going to go over. I'm just going to take the brush that I used before, the more petite one from Snazzaroo, and I'm just going to go around with that same clown white paint, also from Snazzaroo, just to make sure we haven't got any areas of skin showing in the part that's supposed to be white. Next step is to add our dots, because obviously, or spots, whatever you want to call them, because obviously it's like Cruella, 101 Dalmatians, we obviously need spots in there. So I'm going to use just a black paint. This is from Cruella. It's just called their Aqua Colour Soft Cream, just in, I don't know if it's got an actual shade name or if it's just the black, I'm not sure. I have no idea. It's just a black paint. And I'm just going to use two different brushes from Snazzaroo, could not remember then. Also from that same collection, so number 1 and number 3, which is the smallest, and like one that's slightly bigger, just so I've obviously got something to be more precise with, but if I want to make it anything slightly bigger I can. And we're just going to make our little Dalmatian spots. Now I've got my little spots on, like a little Dalmatian. Obviously we want to add some fake blood, obviously. So my absolute favourite fake blood, that sounds so weird, is the Mehron one, and it's their coagulated blood gel, because it's like a nice thick gel, and I just absolutely love it. I think it's such a good fake blood. As you can see, very, very thick, and that's why I love it. I'm just going to take my spatula to sort of apply this with it being a gel. I'm just going to get some on my spatula and I'm just going to sort of start to apply this to the fake skin, like the wax that we've got as our fake skin. Just so that it really does look like the skin has just torn open. after I've added the like blood gel, I'm going to add another blood. So this is the Ben Nye, it's just called Dark Blood. I'm just going to grab some of this. And all I've done is I've literally just put in like a little pot. Yes, this is like a McDonald's sauce pot. Like I kind of like grab a few of them like around Halloween time when I'm thinking like I might need them for looks and stuff. Because I just think it's good just to pour like fake blood in there sometimes. And I'm just going to take a tiny little brush. I've just picked some of the blood up on the brush. And I'm just going to go around again with this blood now. I think it's nice when you are doing Halloweeny looks and you're using fake blood, sometimes just use more than one type of blood. Okay, so I'm just going to finish it off now by doing a lips. I'm going to use this lip pencil from Huda Beauty called Cheerleader, which is a nice bright red. And for lipstick, I'm going to go in with Blood Red from MAC, which I think was from one of the collections. I don't know which though. And there we go, guys. That is the final look. And I've got blood dripping all down my face. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You don't have to add like as much fake blood as I did. You can add more, you can add less. It's personal preference, completely up to you. But yeah, this is my Cruella de Vil look. I've seen a few people do like a similar kind of look where they've just sort of drawn it on, if that makes sense, but obviously I wanted to do the special effects side of it and actually make it look like the torn skin, and I'm loving it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Do you like special effects makeup with Halloween, or do you just prefer like your glam spooky looks? Like, let me know in the comment section down below. I personally love a little bit of both, and I still think this is still very glam with a bit of special effects added as well. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you thought, and let me know, do you ever work with special effects around Halloween, or are you just more like face painting kind of person? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video as well. If you did like it, please make sure you give it a huge thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel too. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one.